I hope you remember the theory you learned about the temporary adjustments of a Theodolite. The most important part of it is implementing what you learned practically. In the field, there are so much of ways to do the same temporary adjustments you learned which were built upon the field experience. Nevertheless, it is important to follow the standard ways and techniques as beginners to understand the basics of these temporary adjustments. Later, when you are building your career as surveyors, you will be able to build your own quick techniques and procedures based on these standard methods to do the temporary adjustments. This video will be helpful to you to learn the standard practice. I hope you remember what the temporary adjustments are. First one is centering. Can you see the peg which was driven to the ground? If you carefully look, you can see the cross and the center of the peg. First we need to adjust the level of this tripod. For that, we consider level of lower chest level for leveling the theodolite. Then release the leg clamps and adjust legs to the required height. Then spread the legs equally. We have to place the tripod over the peg. Now you can see through the tripod head and roughly place the tripod head over the peg, but you need to make sure the base plate is leveled. You can go away a little bit from the instrument and make sure it is leveled. The next step is fixing the theodolite over the tripod head. This is a digital theodolite which is used to measure horizontal and vertical angles. Firstly, make sure the foot screws of the theodolite are at their mid-run. Then we need to fix the theodolite to the tripod. You should place it at the center of the tripod head using this tripod screw. The next thing is centering this theodolite exactly over the cross of this peg. This is called the optical plummet. So we can keep our eye over it and focus reticule and focus the cross of the peg. Then we can see the reticule is slightly out of the cross and we need to adjust it. For that, we need to push one leg firmly to the ground. Then slightly lift other two legs and move the instrument until the reticule comes to the center of the cross of the peg. What you shouldn't do is, you shouldn't spread the legs like a butterfly. Once you keep the instrument at exact center, push these tripod shoes firmly to the ground The next adjustment is leveling. You need to look at this bubble. The air bubble is out of adjustment, so we need to take it back to the center. What we can do is, we can take the air bubble to the center using these legs. You can see the center of air bubble and yellow circle. We can connect these two centers by an imaginary line. It is in this direction. We need to adjust the leg which cuts that imaginary line. So this is the leg. We can lower it a little bit and take the bubble adjustment to the another leg. Now I have taken the bubble in this direction. Therefore I need to adjust this leg. When you are adjusting the leg, don't push this tripod shoe. You can use your left thumb and left hand and take the bubble to the center. Likewise, you can take the air bubble of the bullseye bubble exactly to the center. Now the bullseye bubble is adjusted. Then you need to concentrate on plate bubble. We call it longitudinal bubble. We need to keep the longitudinal bubble parallel to these 2 foot screws and adjust it to the center. For that we can use left thumb roll. Now the bubble needs a little adjustment in this direction. So I need to move my left thumb in this direction to adjust foot screws. The both screws should be turned inwards and bubble comes to the center. Next we need to turn the longitudinal bubble 90 degrees from the line of 2 foot screws used earlier. Now the bubble is perpendicular to these 2 foot screws. Now the adjustment is in the remaining foot screw. According to the left thumb rule, I need to turn my left thumb in this direction. Right. Now the longitudinal bubble was adjusted. Now we know the theodolite is exactly leveled, but we need to check whether it is exactly over the cross of the peg. You need to keep your eye at optical plummet and see the reticule exactly on the cross of the peg. It's not. You need to bring the instrument back to the center cross of the peg. But this time you need to loose the tripod screw and shift the instrument carefully over the tripod head. Then you need to check for the level again and follow the previous procedure you follow to bring the longitudinal bubble to the center. Then check the center back. Now it is exactly centered and level. The next step of the temporary adjustment is focusing the theodolite. So as you know, this is object focusing screw and this is crosshair focusing screw. When you see an object, first you need to see through the gun sight and clamp. Then you need to clear the crosshairs. For that, you can use crosshairs focusing screw and white sheet. Then you can clear the crosshairs. Then we need to focus the object. The next step is removing parallax error. Parallax error occurs when the plane of the image and the plane of the crosshairs are at two different places. Then what happens is, your target will change according to the place you keep the eye. To remove that, you need to shake your eye and adjust the object focusing screw until you do not see the difference in the target and the crosshairs. Okay. That's the end of the temporary adjustments you need to know about the theodolites. Okay students, you watched the video of temporary adjustments of a theodolite. Now what you need to do is practice the procedure you watch with the help of your instructors within the next 2 hours. When you are practicing, you need to focus on the sequence of the steps you follow and the correct techniques. Next challenge is, you need to complete this within 5 minutes. After you completed practicing, take a piece of paper and write all the steps you followed in doing temporary adjustments. Next week, everybody needs to do temporary adjustments while doing your other practical exercises, and you will be assessed by your instructors and marks will be given. Thank you very much for watching this video and have a good day.